And so, it begins. Dark were the skies and chill was the wind, but the casuals cried so they nerfed the weather. Across the hill did ride a dread army of the night, cloaked in tier 8.5, prepared to rain down death and destruction upon the land. And the people didn't bother to cry out for a savior, because they'd just been to heroic Violet Hold. Just as it seemed all was lost, it wasn't, because regardless of not having stepped foot inside an instance you can't sleepwalk your way through, the scrubs had amazing gear, and there were like 50 billion more of them. So the army died, and the scrubs celebrated, and the would-be hero never came that day, or any other day. He f***ed off to play a proper game instead. The warrior said a few choice words that day. Pants on head retarded. One man, one Murloc, 50 trillion emblems of conquest from Utgarde Keep. This is World of Scrubcraft. It begins in 3.2.
I don't have time for an intro. Here's 15 reasons why your patch is terrible. Reason number 1. Right. Let's get on with it, shall we? Reason number 1. Why having badges be given by every single freaking instance in the entire game is an absolutely awful idea. Possibly, in fact, the worst idea I have ever seen Blizzard come up with in their entire history. Alright, this goes beyond everything. This goes beyond putting Nax version 2 in the game. This goes beyond every stupid thing they have ever done. I mean, really. This goes beyond the whole, hey, let's give them some Black Temple level epics for running Karazhan. No, it goes beyond that. It's incredibly pants on head retarded in every possible respect. Here is why. Question number 1. Blizzard, what the hell are you trying to achieve? Well, it's okay. I know what they're trying to achieve, because they said what they were trying to achieve. They are trying to close the loot gap, close the equipment gap, and apparently it's very frustrating. Oh yes, it's very frustrating for the poor people who can't progress in the game. Very, very frustrating. So how shall we fix it? Ah yes, I know. We'll just give them a load of gear and that'll stop them being terrible. No, it won't! They will continue to be terrible in shinier gear, and they will learn nothing. Reason number 1 out of 15 why the badge change sucks, starting right now. It makes the current raid content even more trivial by giving access to gear the instance was never tuned to cope with. What was Old War tuned for, originally? People in tier 7.5. People who just come out of Nax. People who got a reasonable amount of Nax gear and were ready to go. Not people in tier 8.5. Not people in tier 9 epics. Yes, you can get tier 9 epics. What from? Oh, it's very difficult. I'll tell you about it a little bit later on. It's really hard, though. Really hard. And what happens when you make the current raid content trivial? Well, it's pretty simple. There's plenty more reasons that are tied into this. To start with, reason number 3, which ties in quite nicely to reason number 1, it ensures that bad players are carried through instances and learn less, creating a new generation of utter freaking terrible scrubs who don't know how to raid, as if we hadn't got enough of them already. Oh no, obviously we haven't got enough of them already. We wanted to get 5 million more. Get loads more, fill the game with them. After all, $8.99 a month is the same no matter how terrible you are, right? Bad money and good money, exactly the same. Bad subs and good subs. Well, let me just go down the list. Here's reason number 2. following up on reason number 3, it's reason number 2. Hey, I don't have to do things in the correct order, because nobody else will anymore. Boo! Yeah, never saw that one coming. Never saw that one coming.
The suspense, it's killing you.
Reason number 2 why the badge change in Patch 3.2 is absolutely terrible in every possible respect. It breaks the progression system by giving equal level rewards for different levels of difficulty and content, meaning that you don't have to go from heroics to Nax, from Nax to Eye of Eternity, from Eye of Eternity to Sarthron 1, 2, and 3 Drakes, from Sarthron 1, 2, and 3 Drakes to Ulduar. Don't have to do that anymore because everything rewards exactly the same gear. It doesn't matter. Why bother going to Nax anymore? To gear up. It's okay because we can go to Heroic Violet Hold. Because Nax was so difficult. Really hard to get into a Nax group. Really hard, and even harder to get some epics from it. Considering each boss drops 4 of the bloody things, you're drowning in them. It's like 50 epics per instance. You couldn't possibly have any issues whatsoever gearing up by going through Nax. It's ridiculous. I've seen a guy get a full set of gear in like 3 runs. It's obscene, and that's not to mention VOA. Good lord. Reason number 3 ensures that bad players are carried through instances and learn less, creating a new generation of utter freaking scrubs. Yes, that is tied in quite nicely to reason 1. If you make the current raid content more trivial and you remove all the challenge from the game, guess what happens? You've got a bunch of players that just face roll their way through the content and learn absolutely nothing about raiding. And when they get to this content, when they get to this new Tier 9 Colosseum content, you know what's going to happen? I will tell you exactly what is going to happen. It's reason number 7 on the 15 reasons why this is a terrible idea. It perpetuates an infinite cycle of nerfs. Scrubs get all the gear handed to them, and as such they don't bother to run the old content, going straight for the new stuff. They just smash their heads against the first boss, cry about it on the forums until it gets nerfed to triviality, still can't do it because they suck so damn much, so get given the equivalent gear for nothing, so this retarded history can repeat itself over again. And who gets the brunt of it, I might ask you? Well, I can tell you. The average raiding guild gets the brunt of it because they want the challenge and they want the steady progress. They don't want to have their bosses tuned into boring walkovers a la Naxxramas every weekly patch that says, yes, we've just nerfed a whole bunch of other bosses because, you know what, hey, the top 1% has got through on the hardest. That means we can gradually nerf everything. Oh wait, actually, that's a terrible idea because you know what, you got your bad players on one side of the wall and you've got your top 1% on the other side of the wall, and you know who's sitting on that wall? Yes, everybody bloody else. That's who is sitting on that wall. And my cat is attacking the door. So I am going to get rid of this cat. This cat makes me mad. Perhaps even more mad than this change. Yes, whine, whine, whine. See, that's the sound of the wild forms right there in the form of this cat. Now get out. Cursed creature. Now, where were we? That's a great question. Oh yes, we were sitting on the wall. We sit on the wall, and you know what we see? Yes, we see over there a great football field. And the football field has goalposts, as you would expect a football field to have. And what's happening? What are Blizzard doing? Oh yes! You see, on that field, there are 2 fields, yeah? On the field on the right-hand side of the wall, you've got your pro players, who are happily playing away to their heart's content, improving themselves. And on the left side of the wall, you've got your Terabad players. And you know what Blizzard are doing? Every time the Terabad players miss the goal, they move the goalposts ever slightly outwards. And they keep doing it, and they keep doing it, and they keep doing it. And why do they do it, I might ask? Well, the simple answer is this. To keep them playing. Because Lord knows we wouldn't want them to stop playing. Which brings me quite nicely on to yet another one of the terrible reasons. You do not keep moving the damn goalposts. In fact, this actually might be reason 16. Here's how progression works. Let me break it down for you, Blizz, because apparently you seem to have forgotten. Which is funny, because you were quite good at it up until now. I'm pretty surprised. That is quite a shock to me. Here's why this sucks. Here's how progression works. Progression works by putting a set of challenges in front of your players and then leaving the challenges the same so the players gradually get better through trial and error. It's called progress. It's called progression. It's called learning how to frickin' play. That's how you learn. If a class is too difficult to play while leveling, do Blizzard simply make the class easier? No, they do not. If you're losing too much at PvP, do you make sure that all of your opponents get nerfed? Or you give yourself a big advantage? No, what you do is you get better at the game, and then you won't die as much. But no, not in PvE, that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? No, because we have to cater to everybody. Everybody's got to experience the wondrous content that WoW has to offer. Yes, absolutely everybody. Let's just ignore the fact, of course, that you're not really experiencing jack. All you are experiencing is the wonderful art assets and voice acting, and that's great. But last time I checked, I wasn't watching a freaking movie, I was playing a game in which I expect a certain level of challenge. And I do not expect to come back to a blinking instance the week after, having killed the boss. It's like, yeah, we killed the boss, and you know, it's going to be challenging and fun. Oh, actually they nerfed him into the ground because some scrub guild couldn't get past him this week and cried enough on the damn forums. It's the self-repeating freaking prophecy. They can't beat it, they cry about it, it gets nerfed, they still can't beat it, they cry about it, it gets nerfed again, they still can't beat it, they cry about it, and they just get given a free set of epics to say, hey, here you go, breeze through the content, because you're vastly overpowered for the instance now, because you're wearing all of this ridiculous freaking gear. Doesn't matter that you need to be a good player. Oh no, we will substitute skill with gear, and we'll keep doing it until you idiots can find your way through the content. Somehow bumble your way through, face roll it all. Won't that be awesome? That was reason number 4. How about reason number 5? Reason number 5, it's a gear reset. In the middle of an expansion. We've had 2 gear resets before. The first gear reset was at the start of the Burning Crusade, and it kinda sucked then, but at least you could sort of accept it, because you know what? It's a new expansion, so getting new gear's cool. The second gear reset we had was at the start of the Wrath expansion, which was less severe, because they learned last time that a total gear reset at level 61 is a really stupid idea. People don't like replacing their raid epics with easily acquirable greens. It kind of makes all of that work feel a little bit pointless. So what are we going to do? Oh yes, we're going to reset the gear in the middle of an expansion, because Lord knows that gear resets were a great idea. Obviously we've learned from that mistake. Let's reset the gear. That guy in blues, oh, it's okay now. You can have a full set of tier 8.5 equivalent quality gear, because here's a bunch of Conquest emblems. And you know what? If you can't fill all of it with Conquest emblems, it's okay, because you can convert them to Valor. Never mind that you had to run Ulduar 10 on Axe 25 to get those. No, it's fine. You can get them from Heroics now. It's awesome. Here, have all of this stuff. Let's reset the gear, because Lord knows people don't look identical enough to begin with. Look at all of these people with easily acquirable epics. Look at, you know, do you see anyone that doesn't have tier 7.5? I mean, come on. Nax is pretty freaking piss easy. So why would you need to give these people more gear? Who knows? Who knows what goes on in the crazy money-addled mind of Blizzard Entertainment these days? I can't figure it out. So let's move on to reason 6 of my 15 reasons why this change absolutely freaking sucks. Makes a good portion of the gear from current raid instances meaningless. Which means what you're doing is you're running instances for gear, yep, but in reality, you're running the instance for badges to buy better gear than drops there in the first place. What the hell? Why? Why does that even make sense to anybody? Let's do a heroic. Ah, excellent. Some heroic blue drops. Oh, and a bunch of emblems that will get me item level 226 plus freaking items. Ugh. What is that? Someone please figure that one out for me, because Lord knows I can't. Reason number 8, why this change is absolutely terrible. News just in, folks. Gear matters. Getting new items, upgrading your characters is the foundation of the endgame. It's as simple as that. It's the foundation of the entire freaking game. In fact, more so of the endgame, because you can't level up anymore. The only way to advance your character is via getting gear. There is no such thing as a loot whore. Anyone that says they do not want loot is a liar. It's as simple as that. They are an absolute liar. Your priority for loot might be slightly lower or slightly higher than someone else's, but you want items because you want to progress your character. And you wanted to progress your character to 80, so I'm sure it pretty much doesn't stop there. You don't say, oh, I'm 80. My desire for everything material has since vanished. My character is perfect the way it is. Don't ever change. No, that doesn't happen. It's as simple as that. So if you devalue epics and you make sure that everyone can get these wonderful items, then the thrill of getting a new item is lessened. It's devalued. And you know what? The thrill of getting a new item is all that keeps many people trudging through the damn content to begin with. There is nothing fun about doing the same easy boss X billion times. The only reason to do it, and don't you dare say achievements, because that's a lie. No one really cares about that. The only reason to do it is to get items. That's what makes it worthwhile. That's what makes the spending 12 hours a week in a bloody dungeon that you've done 20 million times already viable. Because people want the items. They want to upgrade their character. They want to get their character the best it can be. And they want to take pride in doing that. Yes, indeed they do. They want the shinies. They want to feel like they've earned the shinies. They want to feel like everyone has earned the shinies. Because if everyone has the shinies, then the shinies ain't so shiny anymore, are they? Oh no. No, they are not. If anything, why on earth would I have to quote from a Disney Pixar movie? Assuming it was Disney Pixar. Might have been the other guys. Whatever the case. Quote from an animated movie, The Incredibles, if everyone is special, nobody is. Epics were supposed to be epic. Not everyone was supposed to have them. Hence, they're epic. E-P-I-C. Epic. That's why. But it's okay, guys, because the badge supporters, which we will now refer to as the Badgers, are ensuring that everyone gets to partake in the Purple Party. How freaking wonderful. Get me my shotgun. Make sure there's an extra shell for me in it. Ah. Lord, you are listening to Badge Please here on WoW Radio. We are not done, not by any stretch, and I will be right back after this. Enjoy. You're listening to the podcast, An Archive of Blue Please. Music was removed due to copyright concerns. If you'd like to hear the music, tune in live on Fridays at 8 p.m. British Standard Time. That is 3 p.m. EST on WCRadio.com. Yes, indeed, folks. You're tuned into Badge Please. You're on WoW Radio with myself, TotalBiscuit. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, sorry, I just got another 9 Emblems of Conquest from breathing. I actually unlocked 15 achievements that way as well. That's quite surprising. You know, I thought unlocking those achievements might be a little bit harder, but no, evidently I'm just that damn good. Oh, another 5 emblems. Awesome. That's great. You know, I can build a tower out of ruined orbs. Better yet, I'll make a ski slope out of the damn things and go ride down it while screaming, "Free Epic!" It'll be awesome. Reason 9, why your change is absolutely freaking terrible. And those who don't know, I should probably preface this. You're probably a little bit shell-shocked after the first 15 minutes. Here's what's happening, right? In patch 3.2, which unfortunately also contains a bunch of really awesome changes, but they had to ruin it with one thing, didn't they? Oh yeah. In patch 3.2, every instance, and I do mean every instance except for the new Colosseum instance, is going to drop Emblems of Conquest. Yeah? That means every 5-man heroic, Nax 10, Nax 25, Sartharian, Malagos, VOA of all bloody places. Everything. Not only that, but the daily quests, the dungeon dailies, which consist of a normal 5-man and a heroic 5-man, are going to drop Emblems of Triumph for tier 9. Yes, you can run normal Utgarde Keep and get some tier 9. How awesome is that? So yes, number 9 on the reasons why this is absolutely terrible is this. Nobody, and I do mean nobody, wants the damn Karazhan badge farming back. It was awful. Now we get to have the Naxxramas badge farm. As if anyone really wanted to go back in there. Why would you do that? Right? You accepted yourselves, and this was something that they admitted, that the Karazhan badge farm was awful. Yeah? Karazhan got really old after the first, maybe 10 go-throughs. I certainly don't want to go through another 50 times, that's for sure. Which ties nicely, very, very nicely indeed into reason 13 on my list of why this is terrible, which is, quite frankly, this. Encourages those who want to fill in gaps in their gear to do boring as sin content in order to get it. Guilds may even require people to do so. Raiders want to raid current raid content, not farm knacks or run heroics, both of which are really dull. But you know what? They're gonna have to do it anyway, to fill in those gaps, just from the ridiculous RNG freaking drop system. Let's fill in the gaps by going back to the instance that we were so glad to escape 6 months ago. Not even 6, more like 2 months ago. It's okay, we get to go back to Naxxramas. Naxxramas 2, Electric Frickin' Boogaloo. Oh, I want to dance my way down a bottomless pit at the mere thought of having to do that. Good lord, I hope that you guys have got all the gear you need, because if you don't, it's back to Nax with you. Oh, kill me now. Reason 10. Why this is a terrible freaking change. It will cause the value of ruined orbs to crash, giving easy access to best-in-slot craftable gear to people who run Utgarde freaking Keep. Yes, some of the best-in-slot gear available is the drop recipes from, you guessed it, Ulduar. And what do they use as their primary resource? Oh yes, that would be ruined orbs. At the current prices, getting a piece of that really awesome gear made will cost you an absolute bloody fortune. But of course, if everyone has Emblems of Conquest, what does that mean? Yes, everyone gets to buy ruined orbs by running heroics. What does that mean? Hey, I can get the best-in-slot mage belt. Or the best-in-slot, I believe, mage, either gloves or boots, whichever. Craftable stuff with ruined orbs for basically nothing. Yeah, that's great. So any possibility that this would cause, oh, it's just a couple of extra pieces of gear? No, actually it's not. There's a whole bunch of ways to get really awesome gear by doing absolutely nothing, thanks to this change. Reason 11. Why this is terrible. It encourages bad habits and the new generation of slackers. It says to people, don't worry guys, if you suck, just wait a few months and you'll get free gear for 0 effort and get to face roll the content. Because these are the guys, and this is what you have to understand, these are the guys that don't want a challenge, because they're too freaking pussified to do it. Let me give you an example. Yeah, today I managed to get myself banned from the WoWEU forums. You know what I said? Yeah, this is amusing. I am absolutely laughing my ass off at this particular thing, because I have said so many worse things than this. Blizzard. Yeah, I know you listen. If you're gonna ban me for a better reason. I mean, come on. A 3-week ban for saying if you sucked less, you could have done that anyway. Who realistically hadn't got Nax on farm by the time Ulduar came out? Jesus. That's the best you can come up with from my posting history? I am offended. I mean, for God's sake, you can look on the first freaking page of stuff that I posted and find something even more incriminating. And you chose that? Really? Like, Blizzard themselves are becoming scrubs. They don't want to challenge. They're certainly not putting in the effort in banning me for 3 weeks, because they can't find a good enough reason. Ugh. I'm insulted. Seriously, you gotta try better than that. And the point that I was making is entirely valid. If you don't suck, you can overcome the challenges that WoW puts in front of you. The average guild can do it. The average player can do it. There's only one kind of player that can't. Thanks to all of the stuff that's been changed. You know, let's get rid of all of the attunements. Let's make sure that anyone can go in at any time. Let's support the casuals as much as we can, and that's fine. Support casual players with limited available playtime. That's cool. There's only one group of players that couldn't do it. You want to know who they were? Yes, the bad ones. The bad players can't do it. You want to know why they can't do it? Because they're unwilling to man up and take on the challenges put in front of them. What they want to do is cry. They want to keep crying and crying and crying. They will keep crying, and soon they will form a pool. And then they will form a lake. And then they will form an ocean of tears. And what will that ocean of tears do? It will raise them upwards, and carry them over the wall of challenge in their own salty mess. That's what it will do. Does anyone want to live in a game? Anyone want to play a game that does this? That is actually built with this idea in mind. I know I don't. That's why I cancelled my sub. It's as simple as that. If you're cancelling your sub for this reason, I would suggest that you let them know. There's a nice little feedback thing. And I typed it in there. And it said, why are you leaving the game? Answer, the badge changes. The trivializing of content, rating, and epics for the purposes of appeasing the group of players that are too terrible to take on already nerfed content as it is. Now here's the thing. This is not, by any stretch of the imagination, as even close to as justified as what they did in TBC. Which brings me nicely on, and bearing in mind this is of course not in order, to reason 15 of my reasons why this is a terrible change. The whole point of the tiered badge system was to ensure that we didn't get a repeat of what happened with TBC and the tier 6 level gear from running Karazhan. Appropriate rewards for appropriate content. This is what you say. You, Blizzard, yes, you. No, not the guy over there, it was you. You said it. Multiple times, in fact. Oops, I guess we conveniently forgot about that one in the quest to appease terrible players. Oh, how freaking wonderful. Ugh. You see, you can sort of see what happened with the TBC badge changes, and you can sort of see the justification for it. By the time this stuff came in, by the time all of these changes came in, and the big nerf happened, the content was basically done. It was the last instance. The last instance had been out for quite a while, and we were gearing up for Wrath, which means, hey, throw all caution to the wind. I can accept that. I still think it was a bit of a BS change, and I certainly think they should have reverted it after the expansion came out, so the classic guilds could go back and do the content at the appropriate difficulty level, but I can understand why. This doesn't even make sense. We're halfway through Wrath, and you're nerfing everything. Why? You're giving people all this great gear so they can roll over the content? Why? We're not even half done yet. What's the point? Are you going to do it when Ice Crown comes out as well? Because everyone's got to go see Ice Crown. Everyone's going to be able to go and defeat Arthas because everybody wants to. Yeah, well, you know what? If wishes were horses, I'd be riding the frickin' moon. And you know what? I ain't riding to the frickin' moon. In fact, I see no horses here. Doesn't help. You want to know why I see no horses? Because 111 isn't good enough for anyone over the age of 4 years old. It isn't. Blizzard are not the parents, at least they shouldn't be the parents, who cave in to their children's screamy, whiny tantrums when they want a lollipop from the damn store. Because they just keep going on. I want. It's okay, guys, we'll shut them up by giving them that lollipop. You know what will happen? They'll grow up to be idiots. Which is exactly what is happening to the player base right now. New raiders. This is the experience they're getting. This is what they're learning to raid on? Good lord, I would not want to put them into TBC content. They'd freak out. They wouldn't know what they were doing. Oh, good lord, the first instance is actually semi-challenging. What do we do, guys? I don't know. Let's just go get some gear from badges. Then we can face one. Oh, I'm still dying. What's happening? Ugh. I wouldn't want to see that. That would be messy. Ugh. Terrible. Put them into AQ40. See what happens then. Panic. Sheer total freaking panic. A generation of wonderful slackers. Why? Why take away the separation? I can't figure it out. You put the separation in there, and you specified the reasons why it was there, and you know what? We were all pretty happy with that. We could also accept the fact that, oh, we've got slightly more difficult content now, so if you want Valor gear, and say you're a 10-man raiding guild, yeah, perfectly viable playstyle, 10-man raiding guild, then you can get it by going to Ulduar 10, yeah? We accept that. Since we are a smaller form raiding guild and you're doing slightly less difficult content, you shouldn't get as good gear. It's funny that they seem to realise that. In fact, they realise that all the way up to Ulduar, with the hard modes and everything. Do something harder, get better gear. Do something easier, don't get quite as good gear. So why is that principle just been thrown out the window? Can't figure it out. Reason 12, why this is a terrible idea. Not only are you getting wondrous tier 8.5 quality epics, oh, you get more than that, because you can run normal 5-mans for tier 9 equivalent epics. Just announcing it from the get-go right there. A wonderful new tier. You know, this is just to counter the badgers who said, oh, it's okay because we're just giving them stuff that's a tier behind the new stuff, so you get the new stuff and everything. Oh, but wait, it's not, is it? Because you're giving away badges of triumph from dailies. Dungeon dailies, of all things. Are you nuts? Dungeon dailies? They take like 15 minutes. They don't even require you to do anything. You just have to stand there in AoE. We've already complained about the difficulty level of the dungeons as it is. You gotta reward people with tier 9 quality gear for running normal 5-mans? You know, screw it. I'm gonna go complete a bunch of quests in the Barrens. Can I have a full set of tier 8.5, please? Why not? I mean, I'm taking my time, aren't I? It's not like it's difficult content, but I'm spending time, therefore I should be rewarded because I'm a player. I am a subscriber. Give it. And that's not even to mention reason 14 of my big bumper list of why this is terrible. And this is for PvPers who think this change doesn't apply to them. You know what else it rewards? A nice big set of great PvP gear to people who didn't do PvP. That was already bad enough with VOA, but it's okay because you can now buy an entire set by running heroics. And not just a basic set, a really good set of PvP gear that nobody earned. Because that's all they're gonna do. They're gonna run some heroics or farm some Nexramus. Face roll your way through it. What's the conclusion? The conclusion is that this is absolutely terrible. And here's what you gotta understand. There are some things that you cannot quantify with mere numbers. And badgers will try and argue to you and say that this change is okay. Because all the reasons you're bringing up are non-tangible. Yeah, well, you know what? Here's the thing. World of Warcraft is a social game. That means that every change that comes into this game has a degree of social engineering involved in it. If you make changes like this, you engineer your player base to be worse. Yeah? And people's feelings and how people feel about the content and how people feel about their own achievements and what they're doing in the game directly affects how happy they are. And you know what that affects? Subscription numbers. Because if people aren't happy, they don't play the game. There are no doubt a core of people who simply cannot leave this game because they are so freaking pathetic that they can't be bothered to come out of their little shell and discover what the wonderful world of gaming has to offer. But those are the minority. If people feel like everything they've done is being turned to trash because Blizzard wants to appeal to really terrible players, then you know what's going to happen? They're going to find a game that doesn't do that. And there are plenty out there. So for the love of God, Blizz, the rest of your patch looks awesome. I'm going to talk about it. It looks great. So why ruin it with such a stupid, unjustifiable change? If you want people to raid, then teach them how. You give them the tutorials, you give them the tools to learn on their own, and if they still can't do it, then to hell with them. It's as simple as that. To hell with the bads. You're listening to Blue Please, or should I say Badge Please, on WoW Radio with myself, TotalBiscuit. We'll be right back after the break, and I will be announcing one of the BlizzCon ticket winners in the WoW Radio contest. Enjoy. You're listening to the podcast and archive of Blue Please. Music was removed due to copyright concerns. If you'd like to hear the music, tune in live on Fridays at 8 p.m. British Standard Time. That is 3 p.m. EST on WCRadio.com. So yeah, I'm pretty quiet on Vent, you know? Kinda laid back. Oh my god, you noobs! DPS the ends! I like to chill out, kick back, relax, raid with my friends. No worries, no stress. How is that even possible? Are you 7 different shades of stupid? Move out of the fire! It's important to make sure my orders come through loud and clear. I'm a bit, shy. I'm not particularly loud or anything. My last event server was really poor quality. Tank it, for heaven's sakes! Tank it! How can you be so monumentally freaking terrible? Well, I discovered UGT Ventrilo servers. Amazing quality, great prices, and they're so reliable. It was perfect in every way. I mean, I was a pretty calm guy before. Now I've got even less reasons to worry. Why? Why do I raid with you people? Why not get one of your own? UGTservers.com. That's UGTservers.com. You'll be glad that you did. It's really helped me find my zen, you know? Yes, indeed, folks. You're tuning to Badge Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Free Epic's Biscuit. If you've just tuned in, then you missed something glorious, if I do say so myself. Anyway, that's that done. I'm done with the badge stuff, so let's do some more positive things. But first, I am ready to announce the first winner of the BlizzCon ticket contest. We asked you, if you wish to win a ticket to BlizzCon, courtesy of Blizzard Entertainment and WoW Radio, to send in a recording on the voicemail that said, WoW Radio, send me to BlizzCon.
The suspense, it's killing you.
And I'm ready to announce the first winner. The other two winners will be announced on WoW Things Considered, which is tonight at 7 PM EST, that's midnight GMT, on WCUradio.com, and the third winner will be announced on Casually Hardcore, which is on the Sunday. Go check out the website, WCUradio.com, for more details. Now, the first winner of the BlizzCon ticket contest 2009 is...
Ah, that's right. Sit back and relax. Give my toxins more time to work.
Kyle Winter. Yes, indeed. Congratulations, Kyle Winter. You are going to BlizzCon. And there's still two more chances to win, folks. The contest has now closed. However, there will be two more winners announced. Once on WoW Things Considered, and once on Casually Hardcore. Yes, indeed. And he's actually in the channel right now, so he's singing and dancing and celebrating good times. Come on. So, yes, well done. Well done indeed. I might even have a special canned applause just for you. Enough of that. Right, let's talk about the patch, and let's talk about some more positive things, because you know what, as I say, that patch, that one thing really gets me riled up over what is otherwise, by looks of it, a freaking stellar patch. Look at this stuff. I mean, there's so much cool things. Yep. I'm gonna lay off certain elements of it, because I know there's a couple of other shows that dibsied it. You know, this is the thing with WoW Radio. When we get a bit of content like this, we kind of got to try and divvy it up a little bit. Understandable. So, I'm going to leave some of it out for the time being. And I might come back to it next week's show to kind of round it all up. But shows over the next few days, I believe WoW Things Considered will be talking about it. Of course, Casually Hardcore will be talking about it. And Octil Hordak will be covering just a smidge of it on the Sunday. So yeah, it should be good. Now, let's talk about something that I like. Now, a few days ago now, I posted something which was an expansion upon the idea that we came up with a couple of weeks ago, and I say we because it was myself and some guy who posted in. They actually sent in something about the idea of leveling through achievements and stuff like that to make things more interesting. Now, what I did was I expanded on this idea. I was kind of bored at work one day and decided, hey, let's come up with something called the NLE, the New Leveling Experience. Now, the New Leveling Experience, the whole idea is that you should be able to level any way you damn well please, because leveling is not hard, but leveling does become boring, particularly for those who've already done it before. So, what you do is quite simple. You make pretty much everything give experience in one form or another, and you expand via the use of stuff that's already in the game, the systems in which to do it, meaning there is a whole bunch of new content, most of which is already in the game. Yeah, that's the clever thing. A lot of it's already there. That's why it's feasible. That's why it doesn't require an entire overhaul of low-level content. Now, I did post this. I posted this. Do I still have the link to it? I certainly hope so. Yes, I do. It's going to be posted in the IRC channel. So if you're not already there, you head over. You head on over, baby, to WCUradio.com. Click the chat button on the top of the screen. Alternatively, put into your favorite IRC client, irc.mmoirc.com, # WoW Radio. You want to check this out? Then do that, and I'll have my IRC rep Davlin, or Dr. Davlin as he is today. I believe he's being a bit of a psychiatrist for people that are losing their minds over the badge changes. Incidentally, including those who lost their mind over the badge changes, is Ghostcrawler, who said this: the game needs to be fun for everyone, not just the most elite players. Kind of ties up the badge story. Dumbass. I'm sorry, but you know, this is the guy I usually have respect for. Dumbass. You've already catered to the most elite players with hard modes. The people it annoys are the average guilds, who feel all their achievements are being thrown by the wayside, and who have to go back to bloody next... Jeez. This guy doesn't think sometimes before he opens his mouth, which is a shame, because the vast majority of what he says is entirely sensible. Yeah? And I think he's a great guy. I want him on the show. I would like him, and this is just a little bit of a call-out to him. I want him on this show for an hour, me and him, one-on-one, for a nice, frank interview. Yeah? We'll see if we can grab him at BlizzCon for that. Yeah? I'd like that. I reckon he could take it. I reckon he's capable. He's an intelligent guy. He's a very cool guy. I like the vast majority of what he says. I like the sense that he makes. But in this case, he doesn't know what he's bloody talking about. I'm sure that's his probable intent. But he didn't think it through. He doesn't understand. He doesn't see the vast majority of people are actually in between bads and elites. Yeah? And they're the people who get hit hardest by this rubbish. Anyway, I've said enough of that, so that's enough. Stop. Now, go check out this thread. It's posted in the IRC channel. I want to make you a tiny Earl. Tiny Earl's great. I want to make you a tiny Earl for those who are on the podcast, and it's going to be called NLE. Let's see if that works. Make Tiny Earl. Go, Tiny Earl. Fly. Fly, my pretty. There we go. You can go to tinyearl.com/te. That's TEH. It's this new leet speak that all the kids are raving about these days. TNLE. Yep, that's tinyurl.com/TNLE. Or you can go on my blog at blueplease.blogspot.com. That's got a big list of it. Now, this is the new leveling experience. Now, obviously, the PvP leveling, which is coming in patch 3.2, is something I've had in mind for a while. Now, I incorporated this into my blog amongst other things. Yeah, kind of building it all together. And it's kind of freaky how 2 days after that they actually came out with these changes that were actually quite similar. Of course, I don't even think that I influenced them on that. What I will say, though, is that great minds in some cases do in fact think alike. Now, this new patch is going to allow you to level through PvP, which is something that is a long time coming. There are other games that have done this. One specifically that comes to mind is Warhammer Online, which I did play for quite a while. And yes, actually, leveling through PvP is that game's saving grace when it comes to leveling, because leveling through PvE in that game, aside from doing the amazing public quests, is really dull. Yeah, their quests suck, but the public quests don't. Now, as much as I'd like that to be implemented in the game, that's not going to be happening for a while. So yeah, leveling through PvP. The really nice thing about this is that leveling through PvP, there was the first concern that was brought up is that, hey, this is going to affect the twink population. Now, some people say, off with their heads, but then again, those people are also stupid. Because those people don't really understand the whole idea of you're supposed to try and be all you can be. You're supposed to try and be the best geared you can possibly be at any given level. That's how the game works. That's how the game's designed to work. Do you call guys in great gear at level 80 twinks? No, you don't. You call them playing the game properly. You call them good. So why is it that any level other than level 80 is considered to be twinking and cheating and scrubby and, you can't compete at full levels, blah, blah, blah. Bloody rubbish. These people do not engage their brains before using the internet, and that is a problem that, of course, is widespread throughout the entire world, but so concentrated and virulent in this horrible community. Now, they managed to fix that by allowing you to pay a small fee of gold to turn off XP gain, and that covers across the board. That is awesome. You want to know why that's awesome? Because that allows two very niche groups to go about their business and not have to worry about things. The first niche group is, of course, twinks, yeah? And the best thing about it is, as well, that those who have XP turned off go only into BGs with other people with those XP turned off. Which means twinks fight twinks, which the majority of good twinks, that's what they want. Bad twinks, well, we don't care about them. They can whine and complain and scream all they damn well please, because those are actually the people you are accusing of not being able to compete at top level. Those are the guys, them. Yep. But the good twinks, they're the ones who want the challenge. They want to max out their character and get to the peak of performance at a given level that is not 80. Yeah? They just want something different, and that's fine, I can understand that. And the other niche group is classic raiding guilds. It allows classic raiding guilds to stay at a particular level, either 60 or 70, by turning off XP gain. That is good. Yeah? That's good. That's a great change. Now, leveling through PvP is a really interesting idea, because it's something that's dynamic and changes, yeah? Questing always stays the same. PvP, on the other hand, that can go all manner of different ways. All sorts of things can happen. And those who are actually interested in PvP could theoretically level to 80 doing only PvP. Now, Blizzard have unfortunately said that PvP leveling is going to be slightly slower than questing. I think that's a bad idea. Personally, I think they should up that, make it the same as questing. You know what? You've already admitted that your questing content up to about level 60, and indeed some of 60 through 70 isn't very good anymore. It was at the time, but things move on. Yeah? Times change. You got better at making quests, Blizzard. Well done. Of course you did. That's the kind of company you are. If you didn't, then you wouldn't be as good a company as you are. It's as simple as that. You wouldn't be the vaunted, amazing development house that does no wrong as regards to making games, even though with WoW they have done wrong several times. But as regards to making games, generally speaking, you've made some of the greatest games ever. So we expect Blizzard to advance their techniques, and they have done so. But you've accepted that this old content ain't so good, so why force people to do it at all? This is part of my NLE proposal. Make everything, and I do mean everything, give XP. Yeah, let people raid via old school raid content. Let people level through dungeons. Yeah, let them level through raid content. Let them level through achievements and exploration. Let them level through crafting. Who cares? Yeah, leveling's not hard anyway. Let's make it more varied. Let's get people excited. Let's get people who would usually not level alts to level alts by making the leveling experience different and better and more varied. Yeah? I'm hoping that this PvP change is the start of that. Yeah? I certainly hope so. It should be. It's a great idea. Admittedly, I do have a few concerns. It does make me wonder, considering the fact that the leveling through PvP, yeah? Leveling through PvP, you're going to be awarded experience for completing objectives and actions that yield honor in battlegrounds. Honorable kills not included. Right, well, that's kind of silly. Yeah? Because that means that, hey, you don't kill something. Or indeed you do kill something. Or you just run flags or whatever and cap points. Yeah, killing stuff in BGs, it's damn right that should yield experience. What also worries me about it is, what about healing? Yeah? What about the guys who don't run flag caps? Yeah? Or don't cap points because they're not a class that's good at that? Yeah? That's not going to be so great, is it? Yes, of course they will get XP, one would think, because of the honor ticks in certain things. Yeah, you get honor bonuses for everyone capping the flag, but the guy who caps the flag gets more. Now, obviously, there's going to be certain classes that are going to be a lot better at that than others. I don't see my mage running the flag in Warsong Gulch all that much. Why would I? Huh? Shamans are better at it, druids are better at it, hunters are better at it. They're the ones who are going to be getting the leveling. So I don't understand that. Make honor, just give XP, convert honor to XP. How hard is that? It's not. That's not difficult. Obviously the system's already in place. So what's the issue? I can't figure it out. Also, make honor come from healing, and make XP come from healing. Huh? Encourage people just for playing BGs. BGs consist of a wide variety of different activities, and they're disproportionately rewarded. That's a bad thing. You want to encourage people in BGs to heal? Yeah, well, they're not going to do that unless they get something out of it. Yeah? And the entire experience is going to be utterly terrible as a result of having nobody in leveling battlegrounds that wants to heal, because you're not rewarding them for it. Reward them for it. Reward everyone for doing anything that is related to the battleground. Makes sense, one would think. To be quite honest. Now, there's been various other changes to battlegrounds, such as the Warsong Gulch now has a timer, which is pretty awesome, because, well, we know what that used to happen with Warsong Gulch. You'd get one flag on one side, one flag at the other, and it would just turn into a giant weight fest. Who would want that? I certainly wouldn't. Also, the Strand of the Ancients, the factions starting on attack and defense, will now be randomized at the start of each match. Well, we've been asking for that for ages. There was some crazed technical reason as to why that couldn't happen, but evidently they fixed it. Also, they have decreased the times on Arathi Basin caps, and decreased the amount of victory points required to cap in Arathi Basin, win in Arathi Basin, than win in Eye of the Storm. That makes sense. More BGs, and to be honest, Eye of the Storm was a little bit lengthy anyway. So yes, a big battleground overhaul in addition to the Isle of Conquest, which we talked about quite extensively last week, which I'm also happy to announce is going to have two level brackets, 71 to 79 and 80. And it's going to be a 40 versus 40 battleground. Looking forward to that. My name is TotalBiscuit, listening to Badge Please here on WoW Radio. If you want to lend your support to the NLE proposal, then head over to tinyurl.com/NLE, provide feedback, let Blizzard see it, and here's hoping that this change is a start. You know, it's a nice start of a 10 on improving the leveling experience. Yeah? Let's see this new leveling experience. Let's see how it goes. And you know what? Some of us might come back and actually level some new characters instead of being bored at endgame. Let's make the game start at level 1. As opposed to make it start at level 80. My name is TotalBiscuit. This is Badge Please on WoW Radio. I'll be right back after this. Enjoy.
You're listening to the podcast, An Archive of Blue Please. Music was removed due to copyright concerns. If you'd like to hear the music, tune in live on Fridays at 8 p.m. British Standard Time. That is 3 p.m. EST on WCRadio.com.
Yes, indeed, folks. You need a badge, please. Here on... Oh, just got 27 more Emblems of Conquest. That's great. I can go buy myself skill now. On WoW Radio with myself, TotalBiscuit. If you just tuned in, then you've missed the vast majority of the show. But you can contribute to the show via the medium of email. It's wonderful, isn't it? You can email themurloc@gmail.com. That is themurloc@gmail.com for a section we like to call the Illusion of Choice. And that's the sound of your illusions of choice being shattered when I tell you that I will choose from the emails sent in for the illusion of choice for the last topic of the show. So email themurloc@gmail.com. You've got approximately 15 minutes to do so if you're a live listener. And if you're not a live listener, well, you can email in for the next week's illusion of choice. Won't that be awesome? Now, I'd like to stop myself talking about this, but it's not going to happen. So, I'm going to talk about the new raid instance, because, hey, you know, interested in raid content and all that. Yes, I've cancelled my subscription, but hey, a lot can happen in the time. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they'll remove that stupid emblem change, and then I might come right back into the game. Just as an aside, actually, the whole PvP leveling thing's got me kind of interested. Wouldn't this be kind of cool? If you got a group of players, yeah? Let's just say a group of 5 to 10 players that started leveling. And obviously you've got to get up to level, 10 or 11 to participate in BGs, yeah? But you do that, and you participate in BGs with your XP turned on in patch 3.2, which means that you're not really leveling against twinks or anything like that. Yeah? You might get a few, because of course you can avoid gaining XP via not capping objectives, but I assume that you get an overall XP bonus at the end, so that most twinks aren't going to want to do it. So yeah, you got these guys, and what you did was, you basically created the perpetual twink, yeah? You made a pre-made of perpetual twinks, as in the guys that would go hit the dungeons together, yeah, to get the best gear, yeah? They'd have the money and the backup, they'd hit the dungeons, get the best gear, yeah, do a little bit of leveling in the dungeons, and then do the rest of their leveling in the BGs, and absolutely own face, yeah? And then once they broke the bracket, they'd go back to the dungeons, get some more good gear, yeah, get themselves a few levels, might do some quests, and then go back into the BGs for a few levels, and again, own some face. Yeah, and just keep doing that, perpetually twink, all the way through to, like, level 80, yeah? Turn your XP... You know, here's the best thing, yeah? Get to 60, turn your XP off, and then go get a bunch of stuff from, like, AQ40, and go and twink with that, yeah? And then go back through and do the same thing with TBC stuff. Go into Sunwell, get the friggin' epic bow and everything like that. Wouldn't that be great? I think that'll be kind of fun, you know? I think that would be pretty awesome. I'd do that. I'd hit it, possibly 2 times. Anyway, we can get along with the show. And we'll talk about this content. Now, we've talked a little bit about the Crusaders Colosseum already, but those who don't know, it is going to be a raid instance. It is going to consist of 5, yes, that is 5 bosses. It will also have a 3-boss, 5-player normal and heroic mode dungeon. Now, one of the interesting things about this is they've now gotten rid of the usual definition for normal and heroic. Yeah, normal and heroic used to be 10 and 25 man. That's now changed. There is a normal and heroic mode of both 10 and 25 man. Yeah, what does heroic mean? Hard. Yeah, well, this is something we've been asking for, and I am pretty happy that they're putting it in. Yeah, the whole idea was you've got a mode that is basically nothing but hard modes. Now, obviously, they couldn't really do that with Ulduar because a few of their bosses didn't have hard modes, which was, again, kind of unfortunate. They should have, but, man, whatever. So they're expanding upon the hard mode concept and just turning it into an actual hard mode. Yeah, not optional hard mode. It's just like, you're in here, you're on hard mode. It's simple as that. The entire friggin' instance is now hard mode. It's interesting. What that basically means is you've got 4 versions of the dungeon. Now, that, to start with, is not a good idea. Yeah? Just because of what's going to end up happening. You're going to end up running the same instance like 4 times a week. Yeah, bearing in mind this is not a long instance, it's 5 raid bosses. Yeah? So you're looking at the length of probably Tempest Keep, you know, +1. So it's entirely possible that you're going to clear it in an evening without too much of an issue. And then, of course, you go back and do it again. The harder mode. And then you go do it again. The 25-man mode. Then you go do it again. Oh, dear. Yep, this is like doubling the issue that I saw at the start of Wrath that did actually end up happening. That you end up doing the same content twice. Yeah, the average guild ends up doing the same content twice because it helps them gear up faster. Now, what you've got here is you do the same content 4 times. That's pretty hard to swallow. Now, I can understand that if the heroic mode bosses are sufficiently different as to provide a different experience, and the 10 and 25-man bosses also different, then, okay, we could probably get rid of that. But I have a feeling this is going to get really samey really damn fast. And I do hope it's a bit of placeholder content while they get along with getting Ice Crown out. Now, that would make sense to me. You know, you've got a small instance that's going to keep people going. I've got no problems with that. You know, bringing in a smaller form raid content is fine. That's cool. Now, one of the interesting things about this is that there's going to be something called the Crusaders Tribute System, and the Tribute System is going to limit players on the number of attempts the raid is allotted every week. Additional rewards can be earned depending on the number of attempts left in the Tribute run each week. It's unfortunate they call it a Tribute run, because that kind of gives you a parallel to Dire Maul, and it's really nothing like that. The number of attempts left in the Tribute run each week when the final boss is defeated. Right. Now, this is active in heroic mode only. Okay? So, what you've got is you've got a situation whereby casuals and scrubs can smack their head up against 10 to 25 man normal mode as long as they bloody well choose. Yeah? And what will happen? Well, of course, they'll fail. And, of course, the instance will get nerfed. And they'll keep nerfing it. But it's okay, guys, because we've got heroic mode, right? Wrong. Your average guild is going to be able to do some of the stuff on heroic mode and most likely run out of tribute. We don't know how much tribute we're going to get. Huh? So, what you're going to have is maybe a night where you run out of tribute on heroic, and then the rest of the week you go and do the normal stuff. Everyone's going to keep doing the normal stuff, yeah? Your average guild is going to be doing the normal modes as well as the heroic modes. It's as simple as that. Since they're not mutually exclusive, they're going to do the normal modes, they're going to do the heroic modes, which means the normal modes are invariably going to get nerfed into the ground. What does that mean? They're going to get boring. Same problem we had earlier. Yeah? They'll nerf them. They will nerf them as they did Old War. They'll nerf the normal modes because they said, oh, the hard modes are fine. Yeah, well, again, screws over the average guilds. This has exactly the same potential issue. Will screw over the average guilds. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Since they're all on separate raid lockout timers, I might add, yes, you're going to have people going into this instance over and over and over again. The monotony, I have a feeling, is going to catch up on people pretty fast, which is unfortunate. Now, that doesn't mean that the tribute system is a bad idea. No, it's not. It's a little bit of an artificial rooster block, one might say. Yeah? In the same way that Algernon was. Yeah, some people complained that Algernon was an artificial rooster block designed to keep the elite guilds away from clearing the entire instance in like 2 minutes. And I suppose that's kind of true to some degree. This could potentially have the same effect. What can happen here is you run into a situation whereby your elite guilds are going to, take the few attempts, and they're not going to have anything really to do for the rest of the week because they're going to blast through the 10 25 man normals, which are invariably not going to be all that hard. Understandable. Is that a terrible situation to be in? Well, not really. It could be worse. I also heard that they will only be allowing access to one boss per week, kind of coming in one boss per week. So when it gets released, there'll be one boss available, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. This may get changed. Yeah, this is not actually in the PTR notes, but bear in mind that the Crusaders Colosseum is not yet available for testing anyway, so the PTR patch notes are most likely incomplete in that respect. I'm absolutely sure that I saw mention of that earlier in the preview of the Crusaders Colosseum. It might get changed before launch, but who knows. So they're having this kind of phasing in of the content, just kind of like the opening of the doors in not SSC, Sunwell Plateau. Is that bad? Yeah, it's a little bit artificial and a little bit cheesy, and I can't say I'm a massive fan of it as a result, but if it works, it works. Now, what the tribute system could also do is shut up whiny casual babies. And that's always good, because I hate whiny casual babies. They get on my nerves. They annoy me. They're incessant. I go on all day. Yeah, it really gets on my nerves. Isn't that an annoying sound? Yeah, that's the noise I hear whenever I read the general forums. It's horrendous. I should get that checked out. That's something that I'm hoping I'll be able to get purged with brain bleach. Now, the casuals complain. The entitled casuals we're talking about here, that, I don't have enough time to raid because I have a life. Yes, indeed. I'm actually posting this from my BlackBerry. I'm in the country club playing golf with the boys. Yes. I have such a life, I'm such a social starlet. Yeah, well, you're not really, to be honest, let's face it, because if you were, you wouldn't feel the need to justify yourself on an internet forum. You'd be out with your friends drinking and doing all those wonderful things that life has to offer. Yeah, because Lord knows no one else is able to walk out the door and into a bar and drink themselves under the frickin' table. Now, the limited try system removes the casual, entitled excuse that they've come out with, yeah? This is the excuse they use. The excuse they use is quite simple. This is the excuse. I don't have enough time. Oh, look! It's not based on time anymore. It's based entirely on skill. I wonder what's going to happen here. Oh yes, the same people who are complaining will still not be able to do the content. Not because they don't have the time, just because they're not very good. And of course it will prove what we knew all along, and that's fine. That'll be great. That'll be awesome for arguments. Yeah, we can stick that on the wall and say, hey, I told you so. Now, of course, one of the other advantages of the tribute system is that it allows for easy integration to raid schedules. Yeah? If you're not bashing your head against the same content all week, then it's easy to integrate, hey, let's go do the bosses in this time. Okay, we're out of tributes. What you can also do is time it to make sure that your best raiders are on at that time. The nice thing is that this is really going to be a nice purge of bad players in guilds. Yeah? I've suffered at the hands of players that should not be in the guilds that I've been in. Yeah? Players that have basically sucked. And this is going to weed them out quite nicely. I'm not going to talk too much more about that because I know that Octel wanted to go on this like for half an hour on the Sunday show, and I'm going to let him have at it. Because, hey, it's a positive change from his perspective, it's a positive change from my perspective. Well, the conclusion. It looks alright. It looks pretty good as a tied-over piece of content. Admittedly, we've not seen what the encounters are going to offer. The tribute system is interesting. I have concerns, particularly over the fact that it is a very small-looking instance, and we're going to have to run the damn thing like 4 times a week if we're in an average sort of raiding guild. It may be that you quickly get to the state, thanks to Emblems of Triumph and all that kind of jazz, that in reality you're not going to have to run the 10-man normal mode for very long, or indeed at all. If you've completed Ulduar, maybe you won't have to touch that stuff. But I don't know. If we look at the way that Nax worked, the Ulduar normal stuff was better than Nax normal stuff, but not quite as good, in some respects, but not all, as Nax Heroic. So if we look at it, then it's going to be better than the Ulduar normal stuff, but it's going to be, some of it's going to be better than the Ulduar 25-man, and some of it not. We'll see. We'll see how they manage to itemize that. They may do that, they may not. They may, to be honest though, I just have the feeling that the 10-man is going to be worth running regardless, yeah? I think they're going to maybe jack up the gear quite a bit. So, hey, you're gonna end up running that whatever guild you're in, and that could get somewhat frustrating. So, I think Blizzard's got to look into that very carefully and make sure that it's actually rewarding to go into the appropriate sized instance, yeah? Maybe go into the 10-man heroic mode, because you don't have to spend too long in there, because obviously you're going to have the tribute system, which limits the number of times you get to go in, and you're going to have the 25-man, which you then clear in the 25 heroic. So at least you can skip the 10-man normal. We'll see how that goes. It'll be interesting to see how they work out. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But at least they're trying, you know, and that's kind of important to me. You're listening to Badge Please here on WoW Radio. Oh, look, 57 more badges. Wonderful. I'll be right back after this with the Illusion of Choice. Enjoy.
You're listening to the podcast and archive of Blue Please. Music was removed due to copyright concerns. If you'd like to hear the music, tune in live on Fridays at 8 p.m. British Standard Time. That is 3 p.m. EST on WCRadio.com.
Yes, indeed, folks, you tune into Badge Please here on WoW Radio, where I've just got my full set of tier 8.5 by eating this delicious Bassett's Blackcurrant Children's Vitamin Pill. Nom, nom, nom. Yes, delicious vitamin C. Achievement unlocked. Get free epics. Tasty. I love the taste of success in the morning. Right. It's time for the illusion of choice. Well, I give you the illusion that you get to choose what exactly I want to talk about. Seriously, we've got some really terrible topics this week. I'm not going to name names, but come on. This isn't even an illusion of choice. This is you complaining that you don't agree with my assessment of the badges. I don't care if you don't agree with my assessment of the badges. I'm the one with the mic. You don't have one. Maybe you do, but I guarantee it ain't as good as mine. Certainly not as loud as mine. I pretty much guarantee you also don't have a show on the station. Now, speaking of shows on this station, I'll give you a sneak peek. He doesn't even know that we're going to let him do this yet. I am happy to announce that at some point in the not-too-distant future, to be confirmed, I might add, to be confirmed, the Theorycraft show will be returning under the careful watch of Mr. Natural 20, who will be providing the wonders of a show called Just Plain Better. So yes, there will be a new Theorycraft show coming on within the next few weeks, hosted by Natural 20, called Just Plain Better. And when it comes to his demo, wow, Just Plain Better is the right word to describe it. Impressive. Most impressive. So yeah, I'm happy to announce that that is going to be happening. There'll be a new show coming out within the next few weeks or so. Will be awesome. Now, let's have a look through these illusions of choice and see who's terrible. Let's have a look. Okay, yes. Apparently, nerfing battlegrounds makes them shorter and easier to win. Guy, seriously? It's both sides that get that benefit. It doesn't make it easier for anybody. In fact, actually, it makes it harder. You want to know why it makes it harder? Because you've got less margin for error. That actually makes BGs more challenging, not less. Learn to engage your brain before losing the internet. That works too. Using the internet. It's not nerfing battlegrounds, idiot. It's making them more challenging. It's making them more intense. It's just making them shorter. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that means you get to do more of them. What else have we got? Let's have a look through these illusions of choices. From 3.2 and beyond, what other kinds of drastic changes from things like PvE to PvP, ready to BGs to Wintergrass would you like to see? Heroic Deadmines, things like that. No more, no. Heroic Deadmines is a terrible idea. Have another instance with pirates and ninjas in it, that's fine, but no Heroic Deadmines, good God. What are you thinking, man? Why would you want to go back in there? Yeah, I know it's a great instance, I know it's fun, but come on. Here's one from Chris. This is pretty interesting. Let's go with that, because this is a nice follow-up to what we're discussing. It's from Donk, level 80 Tauren Warrior from Fidelity on Stag Helmet US, and he says this: Dear TB, I'm just going to go off a bit on hard modes. At first, they seemed like a great idea. Ideally, they would provide a way for both casuals to experience the entirety of the content in the game, while providing more hardcore guilds with an opportunity to set themselves apart from the fodder, and reward them for their effort in the process. That was the idea. In actuality, however, the hardcore guilds are not being rewarded with anything other than seeing the hard modes nerfed repeatedly for casuals. Beyond this, the concept is flawed. Raiding the same content but with more HP and more damage output isn't really a reward. Sure, the loot improves, but if you're like me, you raid mostly to see new content. Doing the same content on steroids, I suppose, has some kind of novelty to it, but there is no real reward, in my opinion, other than the EP of getting a few achievements. The great thing about the previous system, like Old Nax, was that if you were a great guild with great players, you were rewarded with seeing parts of the game that few people had access to. In my opinion, Blizzard have become increasingly soft and mincy on us since they started giving everyone high Warlord gear before the release of TBC. It's just been a slippery slope for homogenization since then. All content must be accessible, all tanks must have exactly the same abilities, all classes must be equal in 1v1 PvP, except Ret and DKs. All players must be able to get achievements ad nauseum. Of course you whine and say, what about Algernon? He's like a new boss for only hardcore guilds. Exactly, he's one boss. While it's a step in the right direction, it's rather piss-poor immo. While I have enjoyed raiding Ulduar, and I feel there are many well-designed encounters which have been since nerfed to the point of hoggitude, there still remains a distinct lack of light at the end of the tunnel. Big fan of the show and the new intro. Yeah, the new intro is not getting played again, incidentally. That was a one-time event. For those who are whining, oh my god, I like the old more. I've learned a very, very important thing on the show. Never, ever, ever, ever in a million years try and remake the intro. Because you guys are such stick in the mud. Seriously. I could I want to redo the intro because I thought the voice work could have been done better. So you'll complain if I do that. If you know it's one thing out of place, you'll whine, oh my god, it was better last time. Shut up. Please. You are in the way of change. You are Luddites when it comes to my friggin' intro. Luddites, I tell you. Right, well, this is an interesting little thing, because I too actually think that hard modes haven't been taken as far as they should be, yeah? Hard modes. some of them are really good and some of them aren't, yeah? Good hard modes, yeah? Good hard modes include the Freya and Sarthoron hard modes, yeah? Those are good hard modes. They add, like, genuine new bits to the fight, yeah? Flame Leviathan, good hard modes. Yeah, not good hard modes. XT, Mimiron, both of these have really bad hard modes, yeah? Yogg-Saron, not bad, pretty good. But Thorum, not so much. You know, is Hodiers any good? Well, not really. It's not all that interesting. You know, they run the gamut. Some of them are pretty good and some of them aren't, and therein lies the problem. I think the issue is that they don't do enough, yeah? They don't add a string of new abilities that you have to deal with, yeah? Let's take an example from way back in the day. The first hard mode. The first hard mode was, in fact, Hakar, yeah? Hakar had a bunch of abilities that you could disable by killing the bosses surrounding him. Now, there was no reason whatsoever to not kill those bosses, because obviously you wanted the loot, and you didn't get any extra benefit from not doing it. But what that would do is, doing so would disable certain abilities that he had. Now, hard modes, in my opinion, should always not just be extra damage and extra HP, they should give new abilities. Not only that, and this is something else, yeah? This sounds trivial, but it really isn't. If you want to make things more interesting and vary up the content, then make the bosses say different stuff, and make them do different stuff. No, this is the biggest disappointment I ever had, yeah? I was doing 10-man Ulduar, and we killed XT's heart to do hard mode. And you know what? I expected? I expected him to go nuts. I expected to maybe get bigger and do crazy stuff and have, like, new voice acting. Nothing. Nothing at all. Absolutely zip. Not a thing. Not a single word. How disappointing is that, yeah? I wanted to hear him go berserk and say a whole bunch of new stuff, yeah? He was so nice, yeah? And you kill his heart, so he goes nasty and has a whole bunch of new voice acting. Evidently, no. Not that at all. That sucks. That's just a little thing. It's a little touch that gives you, the guys who can do the hard mode, something that the other guys don't get to see, yeah? They don't get to hear. You get the impression that it's an actual hard mode, yeah? That you've actually changed the encounter in some respect, yeah? So, those are the two things, yeah? New abilities and new voice acting, yeah? New abilities to make the boss actually varied as opposed to, oh, it has more health, and new voice acting because then it gives you a little bit of encouragement to do those hard modes to get access to some new content, even if it's just audio content. Doesn't seem like much, but you're surprised what those little touches do. You know, they really do make a lot of difference, at least to me as a raider. So yeah, concept great. Yes, it is turning out flawed. I do hope that these new hard modes, the heroic modes, will actually provide some variation as opposed to he hits harder and has more health. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about done. It's time for shoutouts, folks. You've got a couple of minutes to send in your shoutouts. TheMurloc@gmail.com. That is TheMurloc@gmail.com. Alternatively, you can tweet me, twitter.com/TotalBiscuit. Tweet all over me. No, don't do that. That sounds filthy, doesn't it? Why is it that tweeting sounds so awful? I can't understand it. It just sounds terrible. Alternatively, send me a PM on IRC. You can do it. You can do it, folks. It's on IRC.MMOIRC.com, #pound, WoW Radio. We've got a ton of people on the channel today. It's amazing what happens when Blizzard makes a silly mistake. Everyone comes and tunes into my show, and people say I should stop being so angry. Are you kidding me? Do you think I want to drive away half my listeners? Dumbasses. Now, one thing before we go into the shout-outs, folks. We are almost done with WoW Idol. You only have until midnight tonight to vote. The show, the final show, is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with the pre-show running 1 hour before that. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 11 p.m. British Standard Time. Again, with the pre-show 1 hour before that, with myself, Ariana, and Octail. We'll be announcing the winners. If you haven't voted yet, go do it. WCRadio.com/votes. WCRadio.com/votes. Go vote if you haven't already. We've got a ton of votes, but you can change the outcome. So go do it. Go do it. Right, shout-out time, folks. TB, I want to give a shout-out to myself, because I actually like most of the changes. QQ be damned. You are part of the problem, sir. Boopkey. What a terrible name. Getting a shout-out to Bundashia and the Guild Nothing Personal after we finally downed 25-man Yogg on Wednesday. Can I also get a shout-out to Blizzard for nerfing him so we could kill a boss we didn't deserve to? Golf clap. Well done. Exarian of AT Hunter on Nerzul US. Hey TB, keep it up. love the show. May I get a shout out to Lorelei on June Mall EU, my girlfriend that I have neglected since I was busy finishing uni. And to the First Blood Guild with the message, stop failing at Yogi 25. Cheers from Dezu, 80 Undead Mage. And it's the illusion of choice topic. Why TB sucks? Well, that would be a pretty short topic, am I right? Hey TB, can I get a shout out for myself, Jacob of Luna, and my wife? We got accepted to CUNY, I have no idea what that is, and we are leaving Peru for the States in a month. Also, please mention Pipo. His apartment desperately needs heating. Thanks a lot. That's Jacob of Balloon, the Inner Focus Guild. Yes, indeed. Checking the shout-outs, and many, many there are. A shout-out to my friend Dan for making him listen to WC Radio. Why did I do that? Things are dying. Everything's falling apart. A shout-out to everyone that is whining on the forums about the emblem changes. Maybe if we're loud enough, Blizzard will cave into us. Yes, indeed. We must defeat the army of badgers. Yes, the badgers are in our way. An anti-shout-out to Blizzard for failing on multiple levels. That's from Dunkirk. Can I get a shout-out to me? What's a note? Yes, you can. Well done. Pat on the head. Shout-out to the new emblem changes. Yeah, they suck, Tilt. And if you like them, you do suck. A shout-out to Tree Stump, Stumpy from Mazrigo EU and the Guild Pain and Fable. Oh, and a shout-out to EQ2 for being awesome. A shout-out to my lovely wife, also known as Ariana, who is awesome. And awesome. And awesome. And awesome. And all manner of other things. But yeah, awesome is good. Hey TB, getting a shout out to me for doing 8 levels in 2 days. 72 to 80. Good God, man. That's sick. Ugh. Can I also get a shout out to my new guild Reliance for killing Yog 25 and halfway through to Algalon on Kaz Gorath US. That's from Nonog again. A shout out to Nairafan for quitting. Well done. Shout out to TB's cat. No, we don't like TB's cat. A shout out to Mr. WT because he will hate it. K thanks. That's from Mopman. Congratulations, you are apparently getting shout outs for hate now. Hello TB, I'd like a shout out to Dragonus for, well, being an ass. Oh, okay. That's not very nice, is it? That's from Apple Snow Elite on Twitter. Very unpleasant, aren't you? I got a preemptive shout-out somewhere here, yes. A shout-out to my family, Helen Stormy, who have to stay offline so I can listen live each week. One is eating soup out of the bowl he boiled it in. I used to do that. One is curled up on the couch in the fetal position. I used to do that. And one is laying on the floor face down. I didn't used to do that. I've got some class, you know. They all miss WoW. Addicts. That's from Thera. Oh, God. You need to get a better internet connection, guys. Seriously. At least I hope you're playing this through the speakers so they can all hear it. Yeah, it's okay. I'm pretty much done. In fact, what can I say? I am done. You have been listening to Badge Please here on WoW Radio. In the time this show has been on the air, I have acquired 237 Emblems of Conquest. I have so many, in fact, that I am drowning in them. Quite literally, I cannot move. I am stuck. Please, please, slide some pancakes under the door. I'm out of here, folks. Check out our other fine shows on WCRadio.com. And remember that we don't really hate Blizzard. We just think they can be really dumb from time to time. Good night.
You have been listening to the podcast and archive of Blue Please, a show that airs exclusively on WCRadio.com on Fridays at 8 p.m. British Standard Time. That's 3 p.m. EST. You can check out our archives on our website at WCRadio.com and subscribe to our RSS feeds. Don't forget to rate and review us using iTunes, and if you wish to leave constructive criticism, that is always appreciated. Head over to WCRadio.com/forum and post in the threads there. Thank you for listening.